Oh, hey everyone. It's me, Mike. Hope everyone's having a good day. Hey, Cider. I meant soda. My stream crashed. I will watch Mike. How's everyone doing today? Sorry I didn't stream last week. There was a little mishap that happened with Sodacat. He got stitches, apparently. So he said, like, alright, cool, we just gonna, like, not do anything. So right now, we're just chilling. Welcome, Nej. I'm not sure if I know you. Sodacat probably knows you. So, it's the wrong camera angle. No, Soda just told me he prefers this camera angle. He said sometimes you'll be able to use a different camera angle. But, are you the producer, right? Yes, I am. I am the producer for everything Sodacat's related. So, once again, sorry guys if I'm a little awkward. I don't know how to act in front of a camera. I'm usually the guy recording Sodacat. So, hopefully, you guys don't get weirded out by me. Don't take orders from him. He's kind of my boss. He pays me. Hydrate. So, first off, let me apologize, guys. I feel like I didn't do too well explaining the phone photography, so we might go ahead and end up doing that again for another stream. But we'll bring that back after I teach you guys a few other things. So, as you guys saw by the title of today's stream, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to edit your photos, whether it be phone photography, whether you're using a DSLR or anything else. You can edit your photos using this one program, and it's completely free. Kinda. So, there are a lot of different programs that you guys can use out there. But I'm going to be talking about one that you guys can use on your phone right now for free. And that is called Adobe Lightroom. I'm assuming a lot of you know what Adobe is because you guys have probably messed around with Photoshop, which I might teach you guys how to use on a different stream if Sodacat permits me and you guys constantly want the teaching streams, because Sodacat will get rid of me. And in case you guys are wondering, why is Mitch here? Because Sodacat said Mitch always has to be here. When he wears the glasses, he becomes so polite. I don't know what you're talking about. But yes, you can download Adobe Lightroom on your phone completely for free. You may or may not have to create an Adobe account, but that's super easy and it's so quick to do. I'm going to unlock my phone right now. And I'm going to head over to the Google Play Store. And all you have to do is just search up Adobe Lightroom. Woo. So, here's the app right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, you can see that. Adobe Lightroom. You're just going to download that, create an account, and then we'll get started. Can you edit my photo? Sure, I do have a few preset photos that I'm gonna go over with you guys. Let me do those 2 hydrates. How's Sodacat doing? He doesn't talk to me a whole lot. Oh, dang, he's getting sponsored or something? No. If Sodacat ever fires you, start streaming yourself. Tell Sodacat to blank off. We enjoy you more than stinky soda. Can you, yeah, just DM me the photo, or DM Sodacat the photo on Discord, and I'll download it. So, as I said, I am going to be teaching you guys how to edit photos. So, if you guys haven't already, make sure you go ahead and download Adobe Lightroom on your phone, completely free. You're not going to need to go ahead and get the premium membership, which is like a monthly fee of like $10, $15, $20, $25 a month. I don't remember how much it is. You guys won't need it. Hey dude, opinion on blank and blank. Tell Soda I miss him, bro. I was expecting him to yell my name. Was a good Nej. I'll be sure to let Sodacat know if you come on Monday. I promise you Sodacat will be here. So, I'm assuming it seems like you've sent me photos. Let me download some photos for you guys. Save image. Hold on, I'm just saving some images on my phone. I'll give you guys a quick minute to just start sending me photos, and then I'll upload them. Now, Wads, I know you sent me something. That's literally pixel art of a cone. I don't think I can edit that. I think I'm not editing a pig from Minecraft. Alright, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into the editing process. Hey dude, did you get mine? I did. So hold on, let me go ahead and add a photo. There we go. So it's gonna look a little bit different from mobile compared to PC, but it should be fine. So here are the photos I'm gonna show you guys today. Alright, so you guys should be able to see my screen. Can you guys see my screen? He disrespected. I don't know who Technoblade is. What kind of photos you looking for? Any photos you guys want. So, do you guys see the photos on my screen? Did I get yours? I DM'd you 2 pics. No. I'm not taking either of those. Alright, so you guys should see some of the photos I have up on my screen. We're gonna look at this photo. Oh. Hold on 1 second, guys. This one got moved into a different folder. Hold on. Let me add the photo review. Let me add it to the album. Okay, hold on. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties. Sandros messed me up. Uh-oh. Dang it, Sandros. Alright. Hold on. I'm gonna add another photo. Hold on 1 sec. I apologize about this, guys. There we go. Now let me just drag that photo in there. Add to album. Huh. There we go. Okay. Got it. So, we have all of our photos right here. So I'm going to show you guys all the photos that we're going to be editing today. No, I got it. So, we got the first photo. Second photo. Third photo. Fourth. Fifth. Sixth. That's Sodacat right there. Seventh. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So, I want you guys to tell me which one is your favorite out of all of them. So I'm going to go through them again. We got the first one, second one, third one, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. By the way, you and Soda we are not the same person. 11th, number 10. All right, so we got 11, 10, 12, 11. Is this 5? All right. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get straight into the editing process. So if you guys are on mobile, you're going to see all this stuff when you go ahead and just plop in any amounts of photos. So we're going to go ahead and go over all these things because all these things look pretty confusing at first. You got all these sliders that you don't know what they mean. You're probably curious, hey, what does that do? What does it mean? Add a cone? I don't know. But fun fact for you guys, before we start editing, all of these photos, except for one of them, were shot on a phone. So just keep that in mind. You guys could take pretty good photos on a phone. But now, what would be the point in going ahead and even editing photos? Any clue? Do you guys have any clue what would be the point in editing any photos? Mine is shot on a phone. What's the advantages to editing a photo? God, no one knows. Okay, so I'll go ahead and tell you guys. So basically the advantages is if you want to go ahead and manipulate a photo, or if you want to go ahead and have it be a different color, you want colors to pop, you want it to be black and white, you want to remove any like blemishes or anything that shouldn't have been in the photo, you can do that. All you need is some editing software. And here is a perfect one that you guys can use on your phone for free, for the most part. I'm going to touch over the basics for you guys today. If you guys want to see a more advanced level, let me know by joining the Discord. Type !Discord, drop it in stream suggestions. Sodacat and I will have that discussion. Zoom call moment, completely agreeable. So, we have a few things here. I'm going to touch on the very simple thing. This stream was brought by Adobe. Correct, totally. No. I wish. So, the first things first, have you guys ever want to make your photos black and white? I know I have. So, let's go ahead and do that. So, it's very simple. When you go ahead and open it up on mobile, you're going to see these little tabs of edit. You're going to have auto and B and W. B and W is just going to set straight to black and white. If you don't want to be black and white, all you have to go ahead and do on mobile, it'll just in the top right, you'll see like a little curvy arrow. You click on that. If you're on computer, you're gonna hit Control Z. That easy to undo anything that you did. But now we're gonna go ahead and move on to some other things. Why would you a colored photo black and white? It depends on the image. Some images you might want to be black and white. Some images you want to keep in color. Let's see, do we have any images here that could work in black and white? Not really. But certain photos might work better. You have RGB lamps. These are not lamps, these are RGB orbs. But certain photos you might want to have in black and white, such as if you're trying to go for maybe a more sensitive tone or more of a sad tone, you might want to do black and white. It depends on you. It depends on what your interests are. Some people legitimately might want to go ahead and just toss this black and white, and that's completely fine. But we want to go ahead and make those colors pop. So here's how we're going to do that. First off, we have exposure here. So what exposure is if we go ahead and crank this bad boy all the way to the left, it's going to make the photo a lot darker. And if we crank it all the way to the right, it's going to really just blow out everything and make it super bright. So what we want to go ahead and do is we want to find that nice in between. So as I recommend, as you guys just saw me do, I like to bring it all the way to the left, be like, nah, or I bring it all the way to the right and I'm like, I just go back slowly but surely until I'm at something that I kind of like. Now, personally, me, at 0, it's fine. But I think I might want this photo to just be slightly darker. So I'm actually just going to bring it down just a little bit. right about there. Because before, this is what it looked like. So you could see more of the wall. I don't even want you guys to see the wall. So now the wall's a little bit darker. You can't see as much as the table. It's a little bit darker. That's what I want. So contrast, we're not going to worry about contrast. We're just going to ignore that for now. Highlights. So the highlights, as you see, it's going to make the orbs and the shadows here, the stuff that has other colors, really either pop and become white, or it's going to darken them. So once again, you want to bring that slider either way you want to go. So if you feel like at 0 you might want it a little bit brighter, you're going to bring it up. Or if you feel like from 0 you want it to be a little bit darker, you're going to bring it a little bit down. So to me, I think that's good about there. Next, we have shadows. Shadows, pretty self-explanatory. Hey, you have a light source. Did it create a shadow? Did you want to darken the shadow and make it more prominent? You want to adjust this downwards. If you feel like, hey, I don't want as much of a shadow there. Okay, so you bring it upwards. So where you'll notice that it's prioritizing is right around here where my mouse is. Same about here, because that's where it's casting the shadow. So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit so it's a little bit more, boom, right about there. Now whites, also basically pretty self-explanatory. If we want to crank it up, we're going to go ahead and have the whites come out more. You see how they lose their color and become more washed out? Or we can go ahead and bring it down to have those colors be a lot darker. So we have less white in the photo now. So once again, bring it to that extreme, pull it back a little bit, or you can do vice versa. Keep it at 0 and just adjust it as you go. Right there is about fine to me. And now with blacks, that's actually talking about everything back here. So the whole entire background, anything that's like actually black and not a shadow. So once again, now you could see a little bit more of the background slightly, or you could bring it down and now everything is super pure black, and we don't want it to be pure black because that just looks like it's very it looks like it just saturated everything. So we're gonna bring it down just a little bit right about there. So now another thing that you guys are going to have access to is a point curve. So you have all these different parts of the point curve, which will go ahead and have it be different colors. You have this one that will just adjust your blacks and whites. We have this one that will adjust your reds and cyans, your greens and purplish, and your blue and yellows. So the only thing that we're going to really focus on today, what is this called? What do you mean? What is what called? This is Adobe Lightroom. You could get it completely free on your phone, so you don't even have to worry about it. Because we're going over all the basic fundamentals. If any of you are like advanced into photography or color grading or anything like that, hey, I apologize. Once again, we're just doing basics though today. So, once again, we're just going to go over the whites. And we're not going to touch this red, green, or blue circle. We're just going to stay on the whites. I think you are getting Adobe for free because school. No, you can get Adobe for free on your phone, and you can use all these parts right here that I'm showing you guys today for free. So does editing his balls. No, this is Mike editing Mike's balls? Walmart's balls? So, alternate title, Professor Mike teaches all of us Adobe red-green moons and their reflections on the ocean. So this is actually shot on a table. Just a little fun fact for you guys. But, so, right here, this is a curve system. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what would happen if we take these two little circles that we have, one in the bottom left and one in the top right, and we just move it anywhere we want. So, kind of manipulates the photo a lot more, and it can make the photo look very janky if you don't know what you're doing. Same with this one. So, what I like to do is basically just a simple little tiny S-curve. So I'll go ahead right in the middle, just click right there. Won't do anything else except I'm just going to crank it up just a little bit, so that brings out our darks and brings out our whites just a little bit more. So you see, so if we bring this down, you see how it closes off our whites? It makes everything just a lot darker once we bring it all the way down here. So this is just a slight little S-curve. If we bring it all the way up, it's going to have everything just like all the whites come out right there. So once again, we just want to have a slight little S-curve. This is really interesting. You can do this for free right now on your phone. And keep in mind, guys, even if you don't go ahead or you're not feeling it right now, like, hey, I don't want to watch this right now, but I might want to watch this for future reference, make sure you type !VODs to look back at this stream and to possibly take something away whenever you want to edit any photos. So, next thing, we have temp, tint, vibrance, saturation. So, none of this we're really going to touch right now. We're not going to mess with any of this, okay? If you go ahead, you could experiment, but if you do, so if you move it over to the left, okay, well, it's not letting me move it right now. Okay, never mind, it's glitching right now. Okay, so, sorry about that. Gracias, no problem. Welcome, Demi. So, for some reason it's glitched right now, won't let me do anything. But the next thing that we're going to move on to is the color mixer. So basically what you could do with the color mixer, you have some options here. You have, actually won't let me click on anything right now. It will not let me click on a damn thing. So that's kind of unfortunate. That's fine. I can still adjust stuff here, but basically we're just going to, okay, there we go. Now I can. So I immediately like to jump straight over to hue. And now what you're going to see is you're going to have all these little lines. All I'm going to tell you, experiment with it. Have a good night, Sanjos. All I'm going to tell you guys, experiment with it. Try to figure out which each one of these is. Basically, you're messing around with colors, specific colors within the photo instead of the whole entire photo. So, for example, we're on hue and we're on red. So if we drag this bad boy all the way over to the right, you'll notice how the first orb becomes more yellow. If you bring it all the way to the left, it becomes more pinkish. Or if we leave it straight in the middle, it stays red. So this is pretty cool because if you look at the second orb, it actually doesn't do anything to it. It doesn't do anything else to any other part of the photo, just that one particular color right there. So let's just say, hey, we want this orb to look more yellow. So just kind of feel it out. What color suits you? Me, I'm going to say orange. We're just going to stick with orange, right? So now this one here. Well, now it's already orange. So now we can adjust this slider to either make it look a little bit brighter orange, or we could keep it like a little bit darker of an orange, or we could just move it back to red. It's up to you guys. But I don't think you'd move the orange all the way over to the left just to make it back to red. So we want to make it just a slightly brighter orange, right about there. So now what about yellows? Are there any yellows in here? No, so it doesn't really even matter what we do with this, so we're just going to leave that 0 for now. Next, we have green. So we have our green orb back there. So what do we want to do with it? Let's say we want to make it a different color, right? I want to make it a different color. I don't want it to just be green the whole entire time. So if we drag it all the way over to the right, it becomes more cyan. And according to Sodacat, cyan is a very gross color. Because if you guys join the Discord, apparently you guys start off as the cyan color, and then everyone will call you gross. So if you join the Discord, make sure you go over to roles and you either become purple / Twitch gang, so you could, you know, come see more of me streaming, or you could join YouTube gang and even see me in one of Sodacat's past videos. That'd be pretty cool. But now what happens if we crank it all the way to the left? Well, it just makes it more of a saturated green for now. So let's say we want to be a little bit more cyan, so right about there. I'm satisfied with that. Now we have aqua. What is aqua? Let's find out. So let's crank this bad boy all the way to the left. Makes it a little bit more icy blue. What about if we crank it all the way to the right? Shifts it back to green. Why? Because it's already on cyan. So aqua, kind of like cyan. So let's say we want to make it right about there. So we just literally just added a +1. Once again, you guys get to feel it out, and you guys get to manipulate your own photos. You could do this completely for free. You just download Adobe Lightroom on your phone. It's really that simple. So now we have the next one, which is blue. So if we crank this bad boy all the way to the right, kind of gives it like a weird as Sodacat would probably make a joke out of, a weird fetus shape. We don't want that weird fetus shape. So what happens if we crank it all the way to the left? Still, once again, creates that weird fetus shape. So kind of in the middle, it kind of just stays blended, right? So then what's the next thing? We'll just leave that as is. What about purple? Is there any purple in the photo? No, and I'm moving around the slider. I don't see anything. So I say let's leave it at 0. What about magenta? Let's go ahead and move it around. Any magenta here? Nah. So that really doesn't affect us. Now, you could basically do the same thing with saturation, where you can go ahead and make stuff darker, brighter, very similar stuff. So basically you could take those colors that you had and you can go ahead and manipulate them. So look how as I move the red, if I move it to the left, it loses its color. If I move it to the right, it makes it a very harsh color. So you want to find that nice in between. So I'm just going to go through this really quickly, just going to mess around with some color manipulation. You feel it out in your own way, whatever works for you. And you could do this with any photo. It doesn't have to be with this exact photo. So once again, there's no yellow in here. Green? Yeah, kinda. So it's just you feeling it out. Feel what you want to go ahead and work with. That suits me. Any blue? Yeah, the blue's right there. So we want to try to get rid of that. Boom. That's a little bit more natural. Now if we move the purple over, no purple in the photo. No magenta. So we move on to the next one, which is your hands are cold. My glasses was in a bin a year ago. So same thing here. You have luminance. So basically it'll either darken something in particular or brighten it. So we don't want something to be too bright or too dark. So there's not really much I want to mess around here. I'm pretty satisfied with it. Now, I'm not sure if you guys can do this part on mobile. I'm going to mess around with it a little bit to show you guys basically what each thing looks like. But we're not really going to mess around with this. So we have midtones here, which basically midtones, once again, you can just kind of change the shade of everything here. So if we want to make it be specific colors, it's going to mess with the midtones. Same with shadows. So this will go ahead and manipulate the shadows, particularly around here, you'll notice. And then highlights, which as you guys saw before, we have our highlights over here, which will darken or brighten everything. So we're just going to leave everything there as is. Last thing that we're going to put them in your mouth. Large moon on fire. I repeat, large moon is on fire. These are not moons, but close enough. So the next thing that we have here is texture. So what happens if we turn that texture all the way up or all the way down? Well, if you look right about here, right? So this was shot on a wood table. Now what happens if we turn it all the way up? The table has a lot more detail in it now. Now what happens if we turn it all the way down? Now the table is a lot blurrier, but keep in mind that's going to be the whole entire photo. The reason why the orbs aren't messed with that much is because the orbs didn't have detail, a whole lot of detail to begin with. So let's say we do want to turn down the texture, right? We want it to look more like an ocean. So then, yeah, I'm going to turn that texture down all the way. That's what I feel like looks comfortable. Now, what about clarity, huh? What happens if we turn the clarity all the way up? Kind of deep fries it, right? What about if we turn it all the way down? Kind of smooths everything out. So you want to find that nice in between here. This is a very easy photo to manipulate. So I'm going to just turn it down right about there. And now it looks a lot more water-ish. These kind of look like water ripples. Welcome, Rob. And then now what about dehaze? So this is something that you're really going to want to focus on. You can give it that like nice little illuminated effect, but we're going to leave that alone. Reason being because dehaze is really meant for when you have fog, like kind of messing with the lens of your camera. So we're just going to leave that as is. Now, vignette, well, we can either go 100% this way or 100% this way. So what a vignette basically is it will create a little ring around the edge of your photo. I don't know if you guys can see my hand. There you go. It'll create a little vignette or a little ring around the edge of your photo. And you could have it either be white or black, or you could even eventually manipulate the colors to be different things. But preferably, industry standard is just white or black. So that's just a little fun fact there. You can't really see the black here because obviously the photo is already black at the edges. Same thing with white here, so we're just going to leave it as is. And now the last thing that I'm going to go ahead and show you guys is grain. So basically what grain is, it's going to make your photo look a lot sandier. So why would you want grain in your photo? Well, you're going to want grain in your photo if, let's say you're trying to make your photo look a little bit more retro, like 90s, 80s, 70s-ish. You know, you might want some more grain in there if that's your aesthetic. And you could even adjust the size of your grain. So it'll be bigger or smaller depending on how you want it. And you could have it be very rough, or you could have it be basically non-existent. I use vignettes to create romantic sexual tension in my Sodacat Mitch Rule 34. Beautiful. Ew. Welcome, rain. So we're going to leave grain alone for now. This is basically the first photo. So let's take a look at what the photo looked like originally compared to what the photo looks like now. So here's what the photo looked like originally. Here's what it looks like now. I'll let you guys make that decision on what you guys think looks better. So the original versus what we have now. So we didn't really do a whole lot except just change colors, manipulate the texture of the photo, and that's really about it. And all that took roughly about 15 minutes. You could do that in even shorter time. It's just me explaining it. That's why it took so long. I don't think that's normal. You don't think what's normal. So now you can even do this with other photos. So we'll take this photo, which is a lot more detailed, has a lot more color in it. You guys mean to tell me you don't ship your streamers with political figures? So once again, we're going to look at this photo. We're just going to adjust the exposure as need be. So do we want the photo to be darker, or does the photo need to be brighter? Well, let's move that slowly. I think if anything, we might need to darken it just so slightly. And the reason being is because you don't want to take all that. There we go. You don't want to take all of that power out of the sky. You don't want the sky to be all blown out like that. So I'm going to leave it at a negative 0.14. Contrast, like I said, we're not going to touch right now. Highlights, we're going to bring down so we can see more detail in that sky, because if we bring it all the way up, the sky becomes blown out. So I'm going to bring that down just a little bit, right about there. So now we could see all of the sky. Could it be brought down a little bit more? Could it be put back up a little bit? Yeah. But at the end of the day, to each their own. Now shadows. Well, if we look at the trees, right about here, you'll see some of the shadows. Now, I personally want to remove some of those shadows so we can see those trees just a little bit better. Now, what about with our whites? What happens if we bring up our whites? Well, once again, it's going to go ahead and take everything here in the photo, and it's just going to brighten it just a little bit. But we want to bring it down right about there. So now, once again, we have our, we forgot blacks. So once again, if we bring down our blacks, or we could bring them up. Me personally, I like to have everything just be slightly, the blacks to pop just a little bit more. Now we're going to move on to our S-curve. So we always put our little dot in the middle, and then we're just going to bring this up just a little bit. Perfect. So here's what the photo looked like originally. Here's what it looks like now. So automatically, our sky looks better. I think our grass looks better. Everything to me in the photo automatically already looks better. But we still have quite a bit of weights to go to make this photo look even better. So once again, we have our reds, which you could see the brick wall over here. All these bricks, red, right? Even the car down here. What happens if we crank it to the right? Everything becomes orangey, yellowy. Crank it all the way to the left. Kind of like raspberry. So let's go ahead and bring it this way just a tad, right up to a color that we feel comfortable with. Now, same with orange. This is going to manipulate the sky. You could especially see it back there in the sky. So do you guys want your sky to be more yellowy, more orangey? That's up for you to decide. Me personally, well, this is what it looks like at 0. The deep reds look good with brick. So what happens if we bring it this way more? I feel like that orange looks a little too dramatic, so I'm going to bring it back just a little bit and keep it at about 19. That's what's comfortable for me. That's what I personally like. So now what about with our yellows? Do we want our sky to look green? If you're trying to be more artsy, maybe. If you're trying to be a little bit more realistic, maybe not so much. So once again, you never really want to crank stuff all the way to the right or all the way to the left, because then it really creates this awkward feel unless you're aiming for something in particular, or unless you really have a really messed up photo. Good evening and go fuck yourself. Well, that's not very nice unless you're talking to Sodacat. So I'm going to leave that at about -12. Now with the greens, now here's where it comes into play. Do we want it to look more fall or do we want it to look more summer? Would that be it? Summer? So do we want it to look more brownish / yellowish, like the trees are kind of dying? Or do we want our greens to really just pop, you know? So me personally in this photo, it could go either or. I think I'm going to want my greens to come out a little bit. I want my greens to be noticed. Do you need .raw files or do JPEG? So everything will work with Lightroom, whether you're using RAW, JPEG, PNG, even TIFF files will work. Lightroom actually exports in JPEG, RAW, and TIFF, I believe. I don't think it's anything else. I believe that those are the three. So then we have our green there. That was a good question, Nav. Once again, you guys, if you want to pay for the full version of Adobe Lightroom, you can. I don't remember how much it costs. It's a monthly subscription. If you want to use it for free on your phone, you can. You only get all the stuff that I'm showing off. So you won't be able to do stuff as in, like, getting rid of something. So, for example, like, I'm just going to show you really quick. I'm just going to do, like, a quick little thing. I'm going to see if I can get rid of this car right there. So, for example, like, you won't be able to do stuff like that. But that doesn't matter. We're just focusing on trying to make our photos pop more, manipulate them to give off that that scene that we just see in our head. My good camera doesn't do raw files, but I may get Lightroom now. You should. If you have any questions about how to take better photos, let me know. Send me a DM on Discord, and I'll be sure to get back to you. So now Aqua. What happens if we mess with Aqua? Does that do anything? Well, yeah, kinda. You gotta look closely. So if you really have no clue yet, if you guys are new at this, okay, so just start to move the slider around, back and forth, and look around the photo. What here is changing color? Well, we could see the clouds are actually changing color, some parts of the clouds, and actually, if you guys see right... So if you guys see right about here, you'll even notice that those change color, the little pieces on the roof there. So let's go ahead and just manipulate this a little bit. I'm more concerned about the sky right now because that's what we're going to have people look at. So do I want my sky to look more cyan or do I want to look more natural? So I think I'm going to put it at about plus 26. Once again, you guys might be like, oh my God, Mike, that looks so stupid. What are you doing? Why are you moving it that way? Once again, to each their own at the end of the day. Photography and editing photos is all up to the person taking them and editing them themselves. So now moving on, we have our blues again. Well, we could have our sky look completely cyan or we could have it look completely purple. And if we keep it in the middle, it looks kind of bluish. So once again, let's go ahead and move that slider slowly. Looking a little too cyan for me. I'm actually going to bring it a little bit to the left to darken it up a little bit, but I don't want it to look too purple, so I'm going to keep it at plus 13. Subjective. Thank you, Darsh. I wasn't sure if it was objective or subjective. I always get those two confused. At the end of the day, it's very subjective. What I would like to see you guys do at the end of the day is go out, take some photos, and I'll make sure that Sodacat shows me all your photos. All you guys have to do is join our Discord and then drop them under Flex Your Talent. I'd love to see you guys take photos, whether they're from a DSLR camera that like I'm using right now to stream, or whether it's just simply from your phone. I would like to see you guys take photos and edit them yourself, and I want to see what you guys can come up with. I think that would be really cool, and I can critique you guys, give you guys some tips on, hey, maybe I think you should step to the left or to the right, or maybe I think you should have angled the camera down or angled up. But at the end of the day, you guys can do whatever you want. I think it's a good hobby, a good skill to have, but you guys can do whatever you want at the end of the day. So now we're going to take our purples, we're going to adjust it to the left, adjust it to the right. Is there anything here that's really, yeah, kind of. If you kind of look at the road. So if we move it all the way to the right, our road's looking a little bit purplish. And if we move it all the way to the left, it's looking a little bluish. So I'm going to keep it right about there. So about -10. Magenta. Is there any magenta in this photo? Actually, yes. So if we look right about here at this part, this little air vent pocket, if we move it to the left, turns that color. If we move it to the right, it looks a little bit more matching to the bricks. So I think I want to match the bricks a little bit more. So I'm going to put it at about plus 59. To me, that works. So I'm going to actually just avoid the whole entire color grading right now. Let's not focus on that. Should we do anything with the texture? Let's find out. Let's crank that bad boy all the way up. That makes it look very detailed, kind of really deep fried. And what happens if we turn it all the way down? Makes everything look too smooth. So I want to add some texture in here, but not too much. So I'm thinking about, plus 19. I feel like you can see a lot better of the windows. Now, what about clarity? Well, once again, if you turn that bad boy up even a little bit, it really kind of deep fries it. What about if we turn it down? Well, it's going to kind of, once again, smoothen everything out, kind of blur everything a little bit. So I think I'm just going to leave that at 0. Dehaze, once again, we're not going to worry about. Yeah, you can do some cool things with dehazing, and you can go for it. As you see, it just completely manipulated the photo, but dehazing is really, once again, meant for when you have fog on your lens and you just can't get it away. So once again, if you want to look more like this, you can, or hey, you like the dehaze look, you want to leave it on there, you can add it. I DM Soda on Discord, now do. I honestly don't see the difference. Wow, texture really changes things. And then once again, we have a vignette. Do I feel like this photo needs a vignette? Personally, no. So at the end of the day, you guys might be like, yeah, I think a vignette should be on there. I think you should leave it on plus 43. I think there should be a vignette. Or you guys might be like, oh yeah, I want to have that more dramatic look. If you're trying to be more dramatic, you want to go with a dark vignette. If you're going for maybe something like, hey, someone passed away, or you're going for like wedding photos or photos of a couple or a family or something like that, you might want to go for more of a white vignette. But for this one, we're going to leave it at 0. For the most part, you don't want to add a vignette if it's landscapes. For the most part, that's what I've taken away from doing this for 7 years. So once again, do we want to add any grain? Do we want this photo to look any older? No. I don't think grain's necessary. Once again, you guys might have a different opinion, but now let's go ahead and take a look at how the photo looked originally compared to now. So here's the photo originally. We have the sky all blown out. The bricks aren't as red. The trees you can't see as much texture and everything. Everything looks pretty dull, uninteresting, looks pretty basic, but then boom, sky's a little bit darker. You get that sun ray down, buildings more prominent, the grass and the trees are more prominent. Everything here just pops a little bit more, and that's basically what I'm trying to teach you guys today, is because when you take photos, most of the time your photos are going to look pretty dull, and you can use Adobe Lightroom. I think that you should be using that preferably over Instagram, the Instagram editor, to give yourself better photos. Glassman teaches how to edit. Let me do that hydrate right now. So we've gone through 2 photos, and once again, at the end, we're going to go through all the photos again, and we're going to look at them. But now let's move on to the next photo. So keep in mind, guys, all of these photos, except for this one right here, were all shot on a phone. In fact, you're probably wondering, hey, what phone did you use? I actually just used, I know I have a case on it right now, I used a simple iPhone 10. Now, you guys are probably, some of you that maybe aren't as privileged or maybe can't afford it, don't have an iPhone 10, and that's fine. As long as you have a phone, I would say probably from roughly the last 3 to 5 years, you should be good enough to take decent photos and then edit them for free. Were those handcuffs? Where? Oh, you're talking about this? No, these are headphones. I know, Sodacat's drawers are very weird. He has a lot of phones for some reason. So, here's going to be a photo where we can really make the colors pop. Why? Because we have a strong blue sky, strong white clouds, a building that is yellowish, grayish, whitish. We have the orange from this little cover right here, or from this little construction area here, and then we have all this green grass. But it looks very dull. I was about to say 50 Shades of Soda. Good at math. So once again, the first thing that we want to think about, is the photo just right? Do we want the photo to be darker, brighter? And keep in mind, this is all going to depend on your phone or your device that you're looking at the photo on. Because yes, I'm streaming it and I'm looking at it on my Acer monitor, but for you guys, it might look different at home, and you guys might be seeing colors that do not work at all, and that's completely fine. Edit them on your monitor or on your phone to make them look the way that you want. Once again, this is just a basic understanding of how to go ahead and adjust the colors of your photos. The more, if you guys want to go ahead and see more of this, and you guys want to see it taken to a more advanced level as well, because I've been doing this for 7+ years at this point, let me know. All you have to do is make sure you type !Discord, join our Discord, drop it in stream suggestions saying, hey, I want Mike to teach this or that, or even if there's something that I've never done before, I'll go ahead and teach it to you guys, because I'll take the time to learn. Average cartoon high school teacher. I'd be interested in more of this. Hey, yo, I'm back. Welcome back, Sandros. So, once again, if you guys are more advanced and you guys are thinking, what the hell is this photographer talking about? He's been doing this for 7+ years. It seems like he has no idea what he's doing. That's completely fine. Remember, guys, this is basics. So, once again, first thing that we want to manipulate, let's check the exposure. We crank that all the way up. It blows everything out. Sandro's doing the hydrate. No, you cannot have a hall pass. Okay, well, what about if we crank it all the way down? It makes it very dark and very hard to see everything. So what is the point of adjusting your exposure? Well, let's say you're taking a photo from your phone, because I'm assuming most of you here are not photographers or don't have a proper camera to take photos from. So I'm assuming most of you are taking photos from your phone, and that's fine. But what happens when the light in the room is too bright, or if you're outside, let's say taking photos of your friends, your kids, family members, and the photos are just coming out way too bright or way too dark because either they're in the shade or they're all the way in the sunlight and it's just hitting down. Well, yes, you want to have your ISO down, but what about when you're on a phone? You can't adjust your ISO. So that's where exposure comes into play while editing your photos. So me personally, I always like to crank my exposure down just a little bit. Reason being because now look at that. We get more detail in our sky. Look at that. So we just got more detail in our clouds, in our sky, in the building. But at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want. Welcome, Ghostal. So remember, don't crank it down too much. Just go by increments, just a tiny bit. Don't even look at this number. Look at the photo as you're adjusting it. Contrast, once again, we're not going to be touching today. Basically, this is what contrast does. I don't want you guys to worry about contrast because that's really manipulating the color and the texture and everything. And I don't want you guys to worry about that right now. So don't worry about that. Why is Mike here? Because I'm teaching. But Sodacat is Mike's last name. Wrong. Can you adjust the ISO on your phone? You cannot. So now we have highlights. So once again, if we crank these highlights all the way up, what's going to happen? Sky's going to come blown out. Clouds are basically are just filled with whiteness, but we want to have some detail in our clouds. So what happens if we crank it down all the way? Well, now everything's kind of dark. Yeah, this could pass. We can really work with this, but we really want to try to avoid as much as we can. If we took a good photo, we shouldn't have to crank everything all the way to -100 or +100. So to go on your camera from your phone and then go to pro mode, then you can adjust. Well, not every phone has a pro mode. Some phones don't. If you have a basic phone, your phone might not have a pro mode. Or if you have an old phone, it might not have a pro mode. So not every phone you can actually adjust the ISO on. So we're going to leave this at about, I'm feeling it out, -15. Your phone does. Yes, my phone does, but not everybody's phone does. I taught that on the last teaching stream. And once again, if you guys want me to go more advanced into the phone photography, I'll go ahead and teach you guys more advanced stuff with phone photography. Now with shadows, once again, we have our shadows right here. Let's go ahead and crank them up. Let's see what happens. Well, now everything's all blown out. What happens if we crank it down? Well, now we have nothing here. It's just completely, almost just like a pit of nothingness, right? I will check my DMs later. Which song are you playing? Here, I'll drop the song in chat. Sodacat told me to go with this song. There you go. So, what do we want to do? We want to bring down our shadows just a little bit, right about -13. So, what about our whites? Well, what's going to happen to our clouds? What's going to happen to that building? That doesn't look too good. How about if we bring it all the way down? Now the clouds look a little distorted. So let's go ahead and put it back at 0. Let's try. Let's feel it out. Down, up, down, up. Personally, I'm feeling let's bring it up a little bit. Let's put it at +16, right? So what about our blacks? Now, let's go ahead and crank our blacks all the way down. It gives a nice blue to the sky, but now if we look at the grass, that is way too detailed. We can't see anything going on over here. We can't see anything going on over here. Crank it all the way up. Well, now we're just back to square one where everything looks kind of blown out, and we don't want that. So I say I like to bring it down just a little bit, right about -9. Once again, there's no particular number because we're not creating a LUT or anything like that. I'll go over LUTs on a different stream if you guys want. Once again, we're not even going to focus on all these little point curves except for this one right here, which is just going to adjust our blacks and whites. So once again, I'm going to do this little dot here. Then we're going to create a little bit of an S curve right there. Because let's see what happens if we move it all the way up. Makes it look hideous. Move it all the way down. Well, really makes it look hideous. So let's go ahead and just adjust it just a little bit. Right about there. So you guys have all, so do you guys have all matching rings? Yes. I will go ahead and talk about why Sodacat makes us wear a uniform. We have to wear this ring. We all have to, it's just a pain in the ass. So now, once again, we could adjust the temp. We're not really going to manipulate this. You guys can if you want. If you move it a little bit, it makes the orange more orangey. It makes the photo more orangey. If you move it to the left, it makes the photo look more blue. If you move it too much, it makes everything look too blue. If you move it too much this way, it makes everything look too orangey. Once again, we'll get more into detail on all that stuff if you guys want for a future stream. But for now, we're just going to leave temp, tint, vibrance, saturation all alone because it can really mess with your photo. I'm just going to give you guys a quick reminder. If you guys want to make your photos black and white, all you have to do, where you see edit right up here, just click this B and W button. Makes your photo completely black and white. But we want these photos to be in color. Why? Because none of these photos really give off that black and white vibe, at least to me. Soda seems obsessive. Biking 3 times if you're okay. Oh, okay. Blink. Blink 3 times. I'm sorry. I saw biking. There we go. Hopefully, I promise you guys, he's paying me like half decent. So now we're on to our color mixer again. Let's look at our hue. What happens if we move it all the way this way? Well, do we see anything that's changed in color? Actually, yeah. If you guys look right about here at this little area where my mouse is, if we crank it this way, it's going to make it more orangey. If we crank it this way, it's going to make it more red. Now, personally, guys, I've never seen one of those little construction areas look red. I think I've only seen them look orange, so I'm going to crank it a little bit more this way to give that natural orange color. Where do you all sleep? In different houses. He tried not to blink the last time. So what about when we manipulate this? So once again, it's going to go back to red, or we could have it even become yellow. So I think we're just going to keep it right about there at +18. What about if we manipulate the yellow? Well, there's a lot of yellow in this photo. So let's go ahead and see. I'm thinking right about -14. Now with the green, we're going to start to see our greens pop a lot more. So do we want this kind of look, or do we want our greens to look a little bit more vibrant? So more washed out, so they're more orangey, or more vibrant? I'm going to put it at +23. Mike, don't say this out loud, but just your clothes. Now I have to. Now I have to readjust my glasses. I don't want to. You need iron? Why do you need iron? Biking 3 times. Blink. I keep reading biking. Blink 3 times next stream. Professor Mike streams while biking. Oh, okay, so it was biking. I'll contact Stark Industries about that real quick. So what about when we adjust the aqua? Does it do anything? I don't really see it doing much outside of right around here. So I think I'm just going to leave it at 0. It's not really adding much or taking much away. Push up your glasses like an anime character. Oh god, I pushed them too far up. Alright, so once again, we can manipulate the photo here to either make the sky look more cyan or to look more purple. So once again, if you move it by increments, that's what's really going to matter. So here's what it looks like at 0. Here's what it looks like when we move it to the right. So do we want our sky to have a little bit more of a purplish look? A little bit more of a cyan look? A little bit more teal? I think I want to go for a little bit more purple because at least it darkens it up a little bit. So I put it plus 10. At the end of the day, it's up to you guys. So do you're manually breathing after... Okay, now let's go ahead and adjust the purples. So... once again, we could kind of have that like little highlight of purple, or we keep that blue in there. So I think I'm going to keep it at about -37. And then do we have any magenta? Not really here in this photo. So now let's go ahead and move on to saturation. Well, any reds? Yes. Everyone back here that's kind of around this area, their shirt could either get a lot colorful or we could just remove that. So I think I'm just going to leave that at 0. I think it's fine as is. What about our orange? Well, once again, it's just changing up this whole entire little area right about here where this little fence is. I think I'm just going to give it a plus 17. I think that looks fine. Now, let's move the yellow. Now, we could either give this building a lot more of a yellowish look, or we could take it out. But everything will be washed out. So... that's why, once again, we never want to go a full-on -100. We just want to go a little bit. Hey, Mike, can we see your chin? My chin's... good? My chin's fine. So, let's go ahead and move our yellow just slightly to the right and feel out the photo. I think -21 is good. As Mike would... my bad. As Sodacat would make a joke. What would Sodacat say? Haha. What's 9 plus 10? 21? You stupid. There. So I hope I made the funny for you guys. So now what happens if we move our green all the way to the left? We take everything out of the green. Or almost everything out. What happens if we crank it all the way to the right? Makes it a little bit oversaturated. So let's go ahead and just crank it just a little bit once again to the left. Or to the right, I mean. Drop it at plus 24. There's a spider above you? I didn't see anything. Now, let's go ahead and move our aqua. Let's see what we get here. So, once again, in the lining of this building, we can see right about here, if you guys can still see my mouse, right about here where the corner is. Look at that. So, we get that cyan to pop out, or we could take it out. So, let's go ahead and just crank it down just a little bit to -37. Hey, Mike, can we see your chin? We want to confirm that you aren't soda. There. You guys saw it. Now, let's go ahead and crank our blues. Let's see what happens to our sky. So, do we want our sky to look washed out? Do we want our sky to look retro? And do we want everything else in the photo to look pretty normal? Maybe, but we want to keep our blues in there for now. We don't want to be too artsy and look and be edgy. So let's go ahead and actually just give our sky just a little bit darker of a blue. Plus 15. Remember, if you guys go all the way like really harsh, it just becomes ridiculous and doesn't look good. So we're going to leave it at plus 15. Hey Mike, check your Discord DMs please. Show us your Adam's apple. Oh my god, a lot of you guys messaged Sodacat. I don't want to go through those messages. Okay, so what about purple? Well, once again, you can kind of see the top of the sky. So, what should we do? Should we bring it all the way to the right or all the way to the left? The sky is changing. So, let's move it just a little bit to the right, and we get plus 23. Soda, what even is changing about this photo? I see no difference. The sky is changing. Oh, well, Ghostal, you're colorblind, so you wouldn't understand as much. And also, it's not Sodacat. You're talking to Mike today. Now, what about magenta? Once again, nothing's changing outside of a few people down here. Now, obviously, we don't want to take the color out of their shirts, but we'll leave it as is. We think it's fine for now. So now, what about luminance? Well, once again, we can darken everything, brighten everything. I think that's fine as is. Same with the orange. I think that's fine as is. Yellows. Well, this is what it looks like at 0. Look at the front of the building. Let's see. Could bring it up just a little bit, but if we go too much, it's going to be too bright. So I say, well, plus 12. That looks good to me. The grass is starting to look like a Windows XP background. So if you guys want, I can even export these photos for you and drop them under Flex Your Talent on the Discord. So, hey, maybe if you guys want to have them as computer backgrounds, or if you want to have them as phone backgrounds, hey, you can. Just let me know at Sodacat on the Discord under Flex Your Talent. Or Flex Your Talent? I don't know. I don't normally go on that Discord. But it's up to you guys. So what about with the green? What happens if we crank it all the way to the right? Makes the green very bright. What happens when we go all the way to the left? Yeah, it makes our grass darker, and we can see more of the upfront here, but now we're kind of losing it all just kind of becomes like a muddy mess. So maybe we want to bring it down just a little bit, negative 25. Now what about with aqua? Once again, same area of the building right here. Well, once again, it's just a vibe out. I want to keep it at negative 28. Give me them. I want them. All right, make sure you at me on the Discord, and I will make sure to go ahead and drop them under Flex Your Talent after the stream. What about the blues? Let's take a look at the blues. So let's go ahead and crank it this way. Well, we can either wash out our sky, or we can completely darken it. Now, that doesn't look very good. That looks really damn bad. It makes everything look disgusting, and it just makes the photo look like it was downloaded, uploaded, downloaded, uploaded, downloaded, uploaded, so on and so forth until the sky just became completely messed up. Satan in the sky. I live with the eggs. What was that? Like something a grandma would make, or something a website loser would make? That's an N64 game. So we could bring it down just a little bit, but not too much. So I'm going to keep it at negative 11. I think that's fine as is. Now, what about the purple? Do we have any purple? Well, manipulates the sky a little bit. But keep in mind, I grabbed these photos from somewhere else. Like, I grabbed them from my Google Photos because I didn't have them saved onto my computer, because these are old photos from 2-3 years ago. So what happens when we go ahead and really start to apply a lot of pressure to the photos? They get pixelated. So once again, you want to try to go with more updated photos that if you're going to do it on your phone, make sure you preferably take them from your phone, or if you took them from a DSLR, make sure you connect that DSLR to your phone. Most DSLRs do have Wi-Fi capability, so you can actually connect your DSLR to your phone and download them straight from the camera. The cloud looks like it licked cotton candy. So I'm going to keep the purple at negative 11. Now, what about the magenta? Is there any magenta in this photo? Yeah, once again, the shirts. But I think they're fine as is. So let's go on to texture. Could we bring up the texture a little bit? Yeah. Could we bring it down a little bit? Yeah. But where is that nice little in between? Well, once again, as I will always tell you guys, it is up to you. Posture check. So let's go ahead and figure it out. What works best for me? Well, I say a +6. And now what about clarity? Well, once again, you turn it all the way up, it looks like it got deep fried. Turn it all the way down, looks like a muddy mess. So I'm thinking, let's actually put it at about negative 13. That's what I'm feeling. Now, what about dehaze? Once again, you guys can add cool effects or really wash photos out, make them look more old school. It's up to you. So this is what it looks like at negative 65. Or you could have it just look like normal. Now, once again, here's what happens if we add that vignette. It doesn't look good if you ask me. To some of you guys, you might be like, yeah, I want a vignette on every single one of my photos. And that is completely fine. Once again, does this photo, should it be old schooly? Does it need the grain? Yeah, we could give it a little bit of grain, but it just, to me, doesn't work. So I'm going to keep the grain at 0. Maybe we might have a photo where the grain will come into play. So let's see what the photo looked like originally, and let's see what the photo looks like now. So here's what the photo looked like originally. We have our greens washed out, orange not popping. It could be a little bit darker here. Our sky is blown out. The clouds look too bright. Okay. Let's see what it looks like with everything applied. Woo. Boom. So the grass is greener, sky is bluer, clouds not as blown out. Building looking a little bit higher quality. This orange popping a little bit more. I ate your Oreos. Cool. So that's that photo. Let's move on to the next photo. Now this one we're gonna have a lot of trouble with. First things first, I believe that you guys can do this with Adobe Lightroom. I'm gonna do it right now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to go ahead and rotate the photo a little bit, because to me, it looks just slightly crooked. So you should see this little box when you're on the mobile app. It should have like two little arrows, one in the top right, one in the bottom left, and you should be able to rotate your photo. So let's see, which way should I rotate it? I think right about there, negative 0.86. It's gonna crop in the photo a little bit, but now I feel, me personally, the photo is exactly lined up the way that I want it. Now all we have to do is go ahead and start to manipulate the photo. So let's crank down that exposure just a little bit to get the detail and everything. Boom. Let's see, are we gonna be able to fix the sky? That's a tough question. So let's go ahead and crank down these highlights, because that's what's really gonna go ahead and get the control of the sky, because if we crank it all the way up, we're gonna lose all that detail. We've already lost a whole bunch of detail, but we're gonna see if we can recover it. So let's crank it down right about to negative 50, because if we go negative 100, I feel like that's too strong, and then you get all these little pixelated squares, and we don't want that, right? Okay. So now shadows. Let's go ahead and crank down. Let's get some more shadow out of everything. I say about negative 15. Now what about our whites? Well, we can crank our whites up, but maybe here we might want to actually just bring our whites down just a little bit to kind of try our best to really recover this sky. I don't know what I was thinking when I took this photo years ago, but it did not come out well. Florios. So now what about with our blacks? Well, once again, as you guys know me, I like to have my blacks pop a little bit more. So I like to bring it down just slightly. So I'm going to put it at negative 15. So once again here, we're going to do our little S-curve. We're going to click right in the middle there. We're going to bring this up just a little bit. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm here to answer any of them. We're creating this little bit of an S-curve. Let's see if we could fix that sky just a little bit more without corrupting everything. There we go. You don't know what's going on, neither do I. So here we are back at hue. Let's go ahead and adjust some of this. So once again, we want to try to make sure everything looks as natural as possible while adjusting the colors. So once again, if we go all the way to the right, that looks fine. But I feel like if we go all the way to the left, it looks a little too harsh. So what color do I want my bricks to be? So I'm thinking let's actually just move it more this way. I like the color of this with them looking a little bit more orangey yellowish. I will cry. Why will you cry? Can we get a cooking stream? I want to learn how to cook. If you guys want to see a cooking stream, make sure type !Discord. If you aren't already, join the Discord. And all you have to do, go into stream suggestions and say, hey, I would like to see Mike do a cooking stream. Teach us how to cook. And maybe tell me what you'd want to see me cook. So now what about orange? Let's go ahead and adjust this. So what are we manipulating here? Once again, the same stuff. I'm going to actually bring the orange this way, because if we look right at these right down here, these little median areas, we can adjust the color of those. I want them to look slightly more red. Awesome. How did you almost die? Now, what about our yellows? Well, that's going to kind of adjust the floor here. That's going to adjust this sidewalk here and parts of the building here. So let's see, which way do I want to crank it? I'm going to keep it at about negative 12. Now, what about our greens? Do we want these trees to be a little bit more colorful, or do we want them to be washed out? For this photo, personally, I'm feeling I want my trees washed out a little bit, so I'm going to put them at a negative 19. Once again, to each their own. You guys might tell me, Mike, awful. What are you doing? What are you doing? That is, the trees should not be that color, and that's completely fine. Now, what about aqua? Well, this is where we mess around with the sky. I'm going to keep it plus 35. We got Trine in here. Welcome, Trine. Now, what about the blues here? Well, once again, we're manipulating the blues. We could have it be more cyan. Could end up more purple. We're going to leave it right about plus 14. Oh my god. Now, what about our purples? Well, once again, we can adjust our purples. As we see right down here, we're changing the colors of some people's shirts, and we are, in fact, changing the color of the sky just slightly. I know it's super hard to see, but we're going to leave that at about 0. I feel comfortable with it at 0. Bye, Mike. Peace out, Wad. Stay safe. Now, magenta. Anything that we're messing around with the magenta? Not really. So, that's when we're going to go ahead and move on to saturation. Welcome, Trine. I know you just came in now. You might be a little confused if you don't know anything that I'm talking about, and that's completely fine. If you want to stay, watch, learn what I'm currently teaching, great. If you want to watch everything after stream, make sure you type !VODs, and that's where you'll be able to rewatch this stream and all the other previous streams I've done. I know how to edit, it's okay. Okay, well, that's perfectly fine. If you have any questions that maybe some other people might have, or if you have just questions on why I do things the way that I do things, hey, don't be afraid to ask. You might still end up taking away something even though we're going over basics today. So, now we're going to go ahead and adjust the reds. Let's go ahead and saturate our reds. So where are we getting that? Where are we seeing that? Well, we're seeing that in this guy's shirt down here, in the American flag here. And are we seeing it in the bricks? Yeah, slightly. But I'm going to put that at a plus 12. Now, what about our oranges? Let's go ahead and find out. Well, do we want everything to look washed out, or do we want everything to have a little bit more color? Well, personally, me, I'm trying to make everything pop, so I want, haven't used Lightroom, so I'll learn now. I think I'm going to break my back. Saturation. So, what about our yellows? Well, I think if we crank everything up, it's going to definitely make everything more yellow. If we crank everything down, it's going to take out those yellows, but I think I'm actually going to put it at about a negative 21. The reason why I say that is because if we leave it at 0, it makes this road look a little bit more yellowy than I'd like. So I'm going to put that at a negative 21. Because I want my eyes to focus on the sky, the buildings, the cars. I don't really want to focus particularly right on the road. So what about our greens? Once again, well, we could have our greens pop, or we could have them be more washed out. I'm going to crank that at about plus 7. Once again, the more you guys do this, the more you can really see the colors, and the more you see all these little details. So to each their own, you guys can adjust the colors any ways that you want for any of these photos. I will be posting all these finished photos up on the Discord after stream if you guys want any of them. So now let's go ahead and adjust aqua. Let's see, what are we changing here? The sky, which is already pretty messed up because of how many times it's been downloaded. But I'm going to keep that at plus 22. What about our blues? Well, we definitely don't want to make it too blue. We don't want to take that color out either. So let's go ahead and put it at about plus 17. That's what I'm feeling good with. Is Flex Talent Mike? What do you mean? Not too blue. So now with our purples, we don't really see much unless we're looking at some of the people with their shirts. We don't really see it that much in the sky. I think we can bring it to the right just a little bit. Now magenta, once again, is there any magenta here? Yes, actually, with some of those people in the road there. So I'm going to leave it like that. So now moving on to the luminance. Once again, if you guys want to brighten or darken any particular color, do we want to brighten our reds? Do we want to darken our reds? I like to have things be a little bit darker compared to being a little bit brighter, because I personally believe you get a little bit more detail out that way. But once again, to each their own, people do things differently. I want this to pop a little bit more, so I'm bringing the orange down to -18. Yellows. I'm going to put my yellows at a -7. Hey, mods, what's this song? Now, what about our greens? So let's go ahead and just add a little bit more light to our green. So +13. Our sky, we want to be at a -25. Welcome, Yami. Now, what about our blues? Well, once again, we don't want it to look like that. Once again, I apologize, guys, about how pixelated the photos are. Please do not beat me down for that. I download them from my Google Photos, from my Google Drive. That's why they look so pixelated. So I say let's bring it down just a little bit to -11. What's up, Tryon? Are these raw? No. So the only raw photo that I had here was this one, which we'll go back over all the photos afterwards. Don't worry about it. So basically, we're going over, for the most part, phone photography like how we did the first time. We're editing. I'm teaching you guys how to edit photos simply for free using Adobe Lightroom that you can get for free on your phone. All the tools I'm showing you are the free stuff. I'm not showing you any of the purchase stuff. And then eventually, if you guys want to see more advanced classes, we'll get into DSLRs, we'll get into the more advanced stuff of phone photography, we'll get into the more advanced stuff of Lightroom. We'll even touch on stuff like Adobe Premiere, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Audition for sound effects or for music or anything like that. Or anything else. For example, you guys want to see me do a cooking stream eventually. That will happen. All you guys got to do, sorry for the shameless plug, Sodacat is forcing me to do it. He's holding me at gunpoint. Type !Discord, make sure you join, and all you gotta do, go over to stream suggestions, say, hey, I'd like to see Mike teach this thing in particular. So, let's go ahead and adjust our purples. Any purple, once again, yes, in the lady's shirt, and any magenta, yes, in these people's shirts. So, boom, that's that there. Should we adjust the texture? I think so. Let's go ahead and find out what happens if we bring it down. Looks muddy. We bring it up. Looks freaking deep fried. So I'm thinking at probably about a +8 we should have it. Clarity, well, I'm feeling a -7. Can I eat in your class? Yes, you're allowed to. Mike, readjust your glasses if Sodacat swore. Oh my god, I apologize, guys. Sorry. Sodacat wants me to be more family friendly. Is Soda just behind the screen holding a gun? Should I call the police? What about a frost stream? Yeah, you guys can ask for a frost stream. So once again, we have D Haze, which really we're not gonna touch on right now. Vignettes. Once again, if you guys feel like you like your vignettes, go crazy. We're not adjusting with the vignettes. We have grain here, which once again, we're leaving at 0. Going over all the basics. Now, let's go ahead and look at what this photo looked like originally compared to what the photo looks like right now. Does you have a place you post your photography, Mike? Yes? If you guys would like to go ahead and see more of Mike, myself, and all the photography stuff that I do, whether you'd want to hire me or buy any of the photos, actual professional photos I've taken, whether it's of landscapes, portraits, pets, or anything else, you guys got to ask for it in the Discord. If I see enough demand, maybe I might go ahead and tell you guys more about myself, Mike, instead of it all being about Sodacat. But going 2014 Tumblr with my vignettes. Don't read this out loud, but put your hands up in some... Mike, is there homework? Yes, there is, and we will get to that. But let's look at what the photo looked like originally compared to now. So here's the original version of the photo. As you guys can see, everything in this photo is completely washed out. The point of this stream, as I will tell you for each and every single photo that we look at, we still have a few more to go, but the point of this stream is I want you guys to take away, hey, my photos look like crap. Why? Well, I'm shooting them on my photo. They look good on my phone, but then the moment I like really take a step back and I look at them, they look so washed out. And the reason why that is because you're not editing your photos. I don't recommend you do it through Instagram. download Adobe Lightroom, whether you're using an iPhone or an Android or I guess really anything else. I'm pretty sure you should be able to download it. And you can really adjust your photos for free with these basic features that are included for free. If you guys want to buy Adobe Lightroom, this stream is not sponsored by Adobe at all. But if you guys want to go ahead and buy any Adobe product, they do run off a monthly subscription. If you're in college, you get Adobe for free. If you're in high school, that I'm not so sure about. I know you get it for free in school, on the actual school computers. I'm not sure about at home though. But this is what it looks like before. We have all our colors washed out. Our trees are a little bit more green than I had them before. But now let's go ahead and see what it looks like now. So our sky is definitely recovered a lot more than it was originally. We got the blues popping. We got the top of the roof, a nice color that we want. We have these greens where we want them. We have the road a little bit clearer instead of being washed out. I think I want to drop out of school. Professor, can I also use Photoshop? Yes, I was actually going to eventually teach you guys how to use Photoshop for there's so much to unpack with Photoshop. So if you guys want to see me do a Photoshop stream, make sure, once again, type !Discord, join the Discord. All you have to do is go ahead and drop in stream suggestions, what you'd like to see myself, Mike, do on a Friday stream and teach you guys. I'm playing the role for MS. Chew gum in the back of... Okay. So what is this place? This is actually... this is near the capital of Washington, D.C. I forgot. I was inside a museum. I was looking outside a window with my phone. And I just snapped this, and that's how I got this photo. But now moving on to the next photo. This photo I personally love. I hold it near and dear to my heart. Everyone has told me sell this photo, use this photo, but whatever. So once again, let's go ahead and focus on what. Can I get some water? Yes, you can. I will actually take a sip of water myself. So once again, we're going to focus on these basics here. Let's go ahead and turn down that exposure just a little bit so we can get more detail out of our sky, out of our buildings, even out of our grass. Contrast, once again, we're not touching. Do we want everything to be we want our highlights to come out, or we want to bring them down a little bit? I think everything's already pretty bright, so I'm going to bring down the highlights to -5. Oh, let me do that. Professor, these photos suck. Where's the color? They're all black and white. So, yo at everyone, please respect the professor. Thank you. So now, once again, with our shadows, we can either bring it all the way up, or we can bring it all the way down, or we can find that nice in between. There are two ways that, once again, I have personally been taught, and that I have used throughout my 7 years of actually taking photos. So you could go through the method of bringing it all the way to one extreme and bringing it back to somewhere that you feel comfortable, and that's where you want it. Or you could start at 0 and inch your way to where you want to be. So I want some of my shadows to come out. So we're going to move into that negative range, right at -5. Make me dab. Now, once again, guys, if you do want to rewatch any part of the stream, !VODs, I'm just going to say that really quick. You can rewatch the stream, and you can take away anything, learn at your own pace. But now let's go ahead and move on to our whites. So, where are our whites? All around the photo. So we want to just go ahead and bring it down just a little bit to +14. And same with our blacks. You guys know me. I like my blacks to pop just a little bit. So I'm thinking -10, right about actually -6. So that's what I'm going to stick with. Draws a flower. Close enough. So once again, we're not focusing on any of the point curves except for the black and whites. So we're just going to click right here. We're creating a simple little S curve. So let's see. Boom. So let's look at the difference that even all this just made, just adjusting our exposure, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks, and doing this little point curve. Look at that. So now everything already right off the bat has more color. We're not even manipulating. Everything looks... The sky is a lot more blue. The grass is a lot more greener. Everything looks a little bit more natural, right? So now let's actually move on to our colors. Once again, we're not focusing on temp. I'll give you guys a quick rundown. If you want things to look more blue, more orange, you can. So more summery or more wintry, depending on how you do it. If you're doing it in the sunlight, if it's hot out, if you're at the beach, I would tell you go more of an orangey tint. If you're at the beach, or if you're in a snowy area, maybe you might want to go a little bit more blue. Once again, we're not focusing on that. We're not focusing on tint. We're not focusing on vibrance. We're not even focusing on saturation. Thank you, Tryon. The color pops, Professor. Is everyone just gonna call me Professor now? So once again, let's head back over to hue. I know, wait, why aren't we doing color? Because I know that would be the simpler way, but this is how I've been doing things. Once again, at the end of the day, for those of you that are photographers and that do have experience, and hey, you might think that, God, these photos suck, or I am so much better than this guy, or this guy doesn't know how to edit photos or anything like that. All power to you. I want you guys to understand photography at the end of the day is subjective? Subjective, right? Photography, editing photos, all subjective. So if you don't like the way that I do it, hey, let me know. Tell me the way that you would do it. So then maybe I might learn a thing or two from you guys. So let's go ahead and adjust our reds. Let's see, is anything here changing? Well, yes, actually. So we have this right here, this right over here, these bricks over here, and these bricks over here. And I'm pretty sure even this guy's shirt right here is changing. So let's go ahead and move that back to 0. Where do we want it? So personally, me, I want my bricks to be a little bit more to the left. No, they're good. They aren't talking. Everyone talks in class. Yes, I'm sure they're. I'm sure to love going to the Sodacat. That was an amazing sentence right there that I just struggled to say. So now let's go ahead and mess around with our orange. Well, what are we changing around here? Basically the same thing. Let's go ahead and manipulate it just a little bit more. I'm going to put that -8 with our yellows. Let's go ahead and move that. If we want to look more green this way, if we want our grass and our buildings right around here to look more right about there, -24. I don't edit photos, I just take them and I turn, if they turn good, then great. If not, I retake. Well, it's not even about taking the photo, because you could take a good photo, but then your colors are still washed out and you want them to look better. Keep in mind, almost all these photos, except for one that I'm showing you here today, are all shot from a phone, from an iPhone 10. And all of them, you might say that, hey, this photo looks great. Look at it right now. Remember, here's what it looked like originally. Which looks better, this photo or this version? You guys can make that decision on your own, and if you feel like, hey, I don't like to edit these photos, I don't want to edit them, that's fine. If you want to manipulate your photo to look more brown, or more summery, or more wintry, or if you want to go ahead and remove something in a photo, or if you want to make certain colors pop, you can do that through editing. It's harder, you can't really do that while taking a photo while you're on vacation, right? So now let's go ahead and mess around with our greens. Do we want our green to pop, or do we want to look more washed out? So I'm gonna go ahead and just move it +8. The houses are a little darker though. What houses? You can't control me? Okay, so now let's go ahead and change our aqua. Let's see, what does this change? Let's look around. Does it change anything? Yes, right about here on this building. So let's go ahead and just adjust this right about there. Boom. How would you make the houses the same color as the original? What do you mean? What houses? Now we're going to adjust our blues. Once again, we could have it look more cyan or more teal or more purple. Once again, if you're trying to be more artsy, this is also where that comes into play, because not only can you just make your colors pop, make them look more vibrant naturally, but you can also go ahead and be artsy. Like you could have a purple sky if you want, or you could have just a teal sky if you want. Are we going to cover masking? No, the reason why is because I don't believe in Lightroom you can cover mask. You can't mask in Lightroom on the free version. So that's why we're not doing that, like the buildings. So here's what the buildings looked like originally. Here's what they look like now. We're just basically giving them more color. So we're going to go ahead and adjust the sky just a little bit. I'm just going to move that a +9. Now with purples, let's see. Do we have any purples? Yes, once again in the sky and slightly in the building. So we're going to move the purple right about -9. They didn't have color in the first place. So once again, if you guys do want me to go more in depth and actually like teach like more advanced stuff, I can. Because I know that some of you, like obviously you trying are like, what are, like, are we going to go over masking? Are we going to touch this? Are we going to touch that? I'd love to. But that's also for, hey, maybe some of you guys are more invested and want to see that. So you have to request for it, if that makes sense. So now let's go ahead and adjust the saturation on our reds. So do we want our building, this building to pop right here more, and right here more? Maybe. Let's go ahead and see. So I think I'm going to put that at about a +18. That's what I feel comfortable with. Basically, the house in front reflecting the sky. There are no houses. When is lunch? At any point. You can eat during class. I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. You can do it in the Discord. So, what about our oranges? Well, let's go ahead and see. I'm going to move my orange at about a +11, right about there. Professor, what's up? When is class over? Whenever it ends. So why it's the same color as the sky to make different, you wouldn't have to mask it to make a different color, but we don't have the tool. So yellow, I'm still not understanding the question quite well. So with our yellows, let's see. We do have a lot of yellows also in our grass as well as a sign and even in the building. So do we want it to look like it's mustard? Probably not. Do we want it to look doled out? Probably not. So we got to find that nice in between. So to each their own, you guys might be like, give it more, give it less. Me, I think I'm going to give it just a slightly little bit less, right at about -14. It's okay, Professor, just keep going. You like mustard, actually? I also like mustard. So what about with our greens? Do we want our greens to be washed out? Do we want them to be a little bit more saturated? Once again, me, I want to be slightly more saturated. I'm going to put it at a +4. Now with aqua, I'm looking at my buildings, I'm looking at that glass, and I'm feeling about +17. Now, with our blues, we don't want to make our sky too saturated. We want it to still have that natural color, so we're going to keep it at a +13. You want me to make the glass or the sky vibrant? Make that shit pop. So now, what about with our purples? Well, we're going to darken everything just a little bit, so right about there, +40. And magenta, not really much going on with magenta around. A little, like, in the background, a little in the front, but not much. I want to start a fight. Who wants to go? No one. The grass, you want me to really make that grass pop? We'll get to it. So, now, let's see. I'm going to darken these buildings, because once again, I like everything to be a little bit on the darker side. Some of you guys might like everything to be a little bit brighter, and that's fine. So I'm going to bring this down just a little bit, -8. Now with our yellows, let's go ahead and bring that to -17. Our greens, let's give that some more detail. -15. And now aqua, let's look around. And I'm going to go ahead and give that -26. I have a gun? No. Hello, Soda, Mike, or the guy we named Andrew. It is Mike. Professor Mike Pike. Can we work with you in the next photo to make the photo? Yeah, sure. I'll let you guys make the next photo. So, now the next thing, we're working on the blue. Once again, we don't want everything to be too bright. And keep in mind, guys, it is completely device dependent. So I don't know what you guys are watching me on. Maybe a specific monitor, maybe a specific phone. I'm not exactly sure. You might be watching me even on your TV, your Xbox, your PlayStation. Can you watch? Yeah, if you have a homebrewed Switch, you might be able to watch me on your Switch as well. Gracie! So, I'm going to put it at -17. Now, what about our purples? Well, I'm going to put that at about a -5. And Now, last thing that we're going to touch, let's go ahead and look at our textures. So, do we want everything to be muddy? Do we want everything to be deep fried? Well, I want to find that nice in between. I like a little bit more texture, so I put it at +8. Let's go ahead and look at our clarity. I like to crank my clarity down to -16. Ooh-wah, ooh-wah. Once again, we have our dehaze, which will go ahead and change the photo up, but we leave dehaze alone. Vignette, once again, just like Trine mentioned, you want that Tumblr look, go for it. We're gonna leave that at 0. And grain, does the photo need grain? Not really. So now, let's go ahead and see, what does our photo look like? Make me dab. What does our photo look like originally compared to now? So this is what our photo looks like right now. Let's see what our photo looked like originally. Do a slow professor dab? No. You already paid for one dab. You got your dab. So here's the original. Here is what everything looks like with the colors more pop. We got our blues popping. We even got our greens popping. Everything doesn't look as washed out. There's more color in everything. Our buildings have more color. The sign has more color. Can you check DMs really quick? I'm looking at DMs. Nothing from you, Rain. I'll pay again, please. Yeah, so pay again and I'll do it. Okay, so let me do a slower dab. And let me do that hydrate. Can I make the sky red? No. So, let's move on to the next photo. We have this one of Sodacat. So, you guys want to go ahead and adjust it. So, I'll have you guys tell me. Let's start off with the exposure. Where do you guys want the exposure? So, remember, exposure is going to brighten it up or make it completely dark. So, I'm going to leave the exposure at 0 right now. Where do you guys want it? I'll let you guys decide, since you guys said that you want to adjust everything on this one. So let's see what kind of photo you guys come up with. More low? Okay, so let's darken it just a little bit. How does that look? Lower, or is that good right about there? Try -10. So we can't go -10. Do you mean 0.10? If we go -5, that's where it is. So I think you mean -0.10. So that's what it would look like right about there, -0.10. So now for highlights, where would you want that? Would you want me to be brighter, darker? Where are you in this photo? I was actually at a mall in... Was this New York or was this, I don't remember where this was. A mall. Yes, this is actually a mall. 10. Okay, so let's do 0.10. Oh. 0.10. Oh, my bad, because we're on contrast. We'll go 10 on this one. There you go. All right, now what about for shadows? Traveling. Hey, Soda, what's up? How you doing? It's not Soda, it's Mike. I don't see a person. Professor, may I intervene? Go for it. I can't read. I'm waiting for you guys. Where do you guys want the shadows? Do you want them darker? You want them brighter? You want to see my pants more? Or should my pants be darker? Can you teach us how to swim? Did you see Trine's art of you? I have not. I will look at it after stream. I don't see it. Is it of me? Or is it of Sodacat? So let's go ahead and bring down these shadows just a little bit. Your head hurts? I feel you guys. So, let's go ahead and bring down our whites a lot. Let's bring down our blacks just a little bit, right about there. It was of Soda. So I will have Sodacat check it out after stream. So, actually, I think we're just going to skip this photo for now. We're going to move on to a more intense photo. Mike hand large. Yes, Mike does have big hands, but we're going to move on to the next one. Why? Because I think that this one is a more interesting photo. I actually showed you guys this one before. Now, this is more of a silhouette kind of photo. Keep in mind, guys, I took this from my phone, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how I basically turned it into even more of a silhouette. So basically all this is blacked out. Swamp? No, this is actually a nice little lake. So first off, we want to bring down that exposure so we get more detail and everything. Contrast, we're going to leave alone. Highlights, I want to bring down just a little bit. Shadows, bring down just a tad to -12. Whites, bring up our white just a tad. Teach us how to read. I don't even know how to do that. Now blacks, we're going to bring down to about 23. So regarding with our point curve, we're going to bring this up a lot more, and let's see, can we bring this down right about there? So now our blacks are automatically popping more. Everything is darker here, like you can't see any parts of the buildings except these little dots, which we can technically get rid of. So that's basically our curve right there. We just sped through everything right here, make it more detailed. Hold on. So now once again, do we have any reds? No, so we don't need to worry about that. Do we have any oranges? A little bit in the sky here, but I'm going to leave that as 0. So now here is where things come into effect. Do you want your sunset to be green? Saturate that shit. What the fuck is this image? It's a lake. So we want to bring this down a little bit, right about -28. And now greens. Do we have any greens? Not really. What do you mean swore? Who swore? It couldn't be me. So, our water is kind of in between blue and purple. We want to go ahead and make it look a little bit more natural. So we're going to bring down that blue a little bit. And now we're going to move that purple this way to about 11. Or do you guys feel like you want to go for more of a purple vibe? Do you guys prefer blue or purple? I would never say that word. Don't gaslight me, I'll tell the dean. What's the difference? You wouldn't know, Ghostal, because you technically are colorblind, so you wouldn't know. I'll let you guys decide. Do you guys want blue or purple? So if we're going to go for a purple look, we would want to go more this way. Just like that. Or we could keep it blue. Okay, someone's colorblind. Blue, please. All right, so we'll keep it blue. And we will go ahead and hold on. Just that right about there. I'm going to move on to saturation. We have a little bit of orange there. We want to kind of create that little middle layer. So we have blue, purple, a little purple right here. Got this nice little orange right here. I'm not sure how much you guys can see here. Bordy, thank you for the follow. Then we have yellow and some orange right about here. Hey, how are you? I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself? So now, you guys want me to do a burp? There. So now let's go ahead and adjust our yellow. So I personally want that yellow to pop a little bit more because I kind of want the layers with the colors about here. So want to expand my stream. What do you mean? So now what about green? What should we do here? Hydrate. You guys are distracting me now. So, let's go ahead and check out our aqua. What should we do about here? Nothing. Blue. Well, we can make it more blue. We can make it less blue. We'll put it at about plus 11. Thank you, stream, checking out new channels. Ah, okay. Well, I hope you enjoy, and hopefully you take away something from this stream. If you'd like to learn everything that I've taught so far on this stream, make sure you go ahead and type !VODs, because that's where you're going to be able to rewatch this stream after and learn a few things about how to better edit your photos and make your colors pop. Peace out, Egwin. Stay safe. So now we're going to move on to the last thing, which is loom. So once again, we can go ahead and adjust a few things here. Do we have any orange that we want to adjust? Nah, we'll leave that as is. And our yellow, right about there. What's everyone saying? So shouldn't your game be under art instead of, oh, I guess it should be under art, but it's not. I will keep that in mind for next time. My apologies. So let's see. What about our blues? Do we want our blues to look a little bit darker? Me personally, I think about -12. Purple, I want to put that at about a -6. And then magenta, we'll leave that as is. So then now we come up to something else where it is texture. Do we want more texture in our photo? Do we want less texture? Now, personally, when editing water, I don't like turning up the texture. You can. I personally like to turn down the texture so then it looks milky smooth. So I'm going to put it at about a -53 because that's what looks appealing to me. And then I'm going to move the clarity down to about a -11 right there. And we're not going to do anything with DD Haze if you want. Once again, this might be your style. It's not for me. You could add a vignette. No reason to add it. And then here, once again, we have grain. No need for a grain. So, make me dab. There. So, now, we have the finished photo right here. Let's see what it looked like before. And this is what I'm talking about. I want you guys to decide, hey, Mike, my photos look washed out. How do I give them more color? Well, let's look at how this photo looked originally compared to now. So this was the original version of the photo. I'll let you guys take a good look at it for a second. And then here is the finished version of it. The one that's dead, is that a... what? So, now, moving on to the next photo. We have this photo that I took when I was at Animal Kingdom. So, let's go ahead and adjust this photo as need be. Once again, you guys should know already, we're going to turn down that exposure. We want more detail in that sky. We want more detail in our shadows. We're going to leave contrast alone. Let's see. We're going to bring down our highlights just a little bit. We're going to bring down our shadows just a tad. Perfect. We're going to move our whites just up just a little. This looks like a Bob Ross painting. Oh my god. So what I like so much about this photo is, hold on, let me actually crop it first because this bugs me. So we're going to crop right about here. Now the reason why I'm cropping is because I want it to look more like it is actually not a theme park, and I want it to look more like, hey, it could be an actual mound. Now, does it look like an actual mound? No. Could you technically change that if you put enough time and effort into it? Yeah. But we're just going to keep it as is. We cropped out the lights. We cropped out the roller coaster. In case you guys are wondering, this is the, what ride is that? Mount Everest in Disney World. So now, hold on. We're going to turn down our blacks just a little bit to -19. And boom, we're going to put this point right in the middle. We're going to create our little S curve again. And right about there. There we go. So now the next thing that we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to head back over to hue. We don't really have any reds in here. It's slightly in the rocks, but we're just going to leave that as be. Once again, with the same thing with the orange slightly in the rocks, not really necessary for us to touch. So now, once again, here's where it comes into play. Do you want your trees to be greener, or do you want them to be orangier? Orangier? So I want my trees to be just slightly greener. So I'm gonna put them about +18. And then I'm going to move this about +6, right about there. So now what about with aqua? Do we want everything to look more cyan, or do we want everything to look a little bit more normal? So I'm going to move that at about +20. And then I'm going to move this at about a +7. And our purple, not really making a difference. Magenta, let's look. Do we see anything? Not really. Greener? What do you mean greener? We made our trees greener. Now let's go ahead and see, can we saturate everything? Yeah, we can saturate the rocks a little bit, but it doesn't really make much of a difference. Same with the orange. Now when we move on to the yellow, we're really either going to be putting a lot of yellow into the trees, or we're just going to leave it as is. We're going to put some more green into the trees, right about +15. Now with aqua, let's go ahead and put that at about a +21. So we really look like we're getting some ice right about here. As much as I love it here, my head hurts. Well, go lay down, go rest. I understand hearing me do this for almost 2 hours can be a little tiring and cause a little bit of pain to the head. Completely understandable. So go do your thing if you have to. We're going to move our blue at a +17. And our purple's fine there. Magenta we don't see much of. So now we move on to loom. So let's see. Nothing much in the red. Nothing much in the orange. We can bring down the color, the brightness of that yellow, and move down the brightness of the green a little bit. And now let's see, is there anything left here with the aqua? I think so. I'm going to move it right at about a +23. I move that blue at a -10. So that's everything right about there. So now we're moving on to our texture. So I'm going to move my texture up just a little bit to about a +14. Lurk I shall. And we're going to move our clarity at about a +9. Dehaze, yeah, once again, you always could. Me, I don't really mess with it. So this is the final version of this photo. I sped through this, and I'll let you guys be the judge. Do you prefer the original version, or do you prefer this version? You guys will be the judge. You guys can judge the photo. So once again, I'm gonna leave it on the original for a second. We have the sky all washed out. We have our greens washed out. We even have the mountain all washed out. And then here's the edited version where you see more black, you see more green, you see more blue, you see more everything. So now moving on to our next photo, we have Sodacat here. So I'm just going to speed through this one. I know Sodacat personally told me he wanted me to edit this photo of him. So we're just going to work on our highlights a little bit. Let's bring those highlights down so we can see his arm a little bit more. We're going to bring down those shadows just a little. We're going to bring up those whites and bring down those blacks. I don't know if this photo of Sodacat's beautiful, Darsh, but I do appreciate it. So there's that right there. Let's go ahead and go back to hue. We're going to speed through this. Sodacat's. So here's where we're getting into the skin now. So if you look at my skin carefully, if we move it all the way this way, it looks like I'm sunburned. If we move it all the way this way, I look like I'm very ill. And the color of my lips are completely gone. So let's go ahead and move it this way just a little bit. Edited 1. So now we're going to go ahead and move everything right about this way so we get more color in those barrels. And let's see, right about there with the yellow. Let's see. Sorry, I heard someone in the other room. We're going to move this to about a -14. How can you crop out where it's just soda? Are you saying you want to be just Sodacat? Or you want Sodacat out of the picture? What are you asking for? Oh, shoot. I was referring to the mountain stream lag. I'm sorry. Ah, okay. So do you want Sodacat in the photo or you want Sodacat out of the photo? Let's go ahead and move on to saturation. Let's go ahead and saturate this just a tad. Let's make his skin just a little bit paler because he is a pretty pale guy in the Yes. Do you want him in the photo or out of the photo? Oh, you want him in the photo. Okay. I gotcha. So what you're asking is, hey, I want to just be Sodacat, right? So then what you're going to go ahead and do is crop it just like that. So you'll come over to this little crop icon, which is a little square with two little kisses on the end in the top left, and bottom right. And a little arrow, two little arrows, one in the top right, one in the bottom left. And you'll go ahead and adjust it as need be. So now we have a much smaller photo, a much more cropped in photo. So now we're going to adjust the yellows. Do we want everything to look more rustic? Yes. So we want to bring those yellows up. Now regarding with greens, there's not much green going on in this photo, so we'll leave B. Aqua, not much aqua, not enough to really make a difference. Now with blues, we got a little bit of blue in the back, mostly in the lady's shirt and in my sunglasses. So we'll move it to a +12. Purple, not much going on unless it's in my hat, which we'll bring down to a -9. Magenta, yes, there is magenta. It's in my shirt. We'll give it a little bit more of a pop. And now we'll move on to loom. So we're going to go ahead and bring it down just a little bit. And we're going to bring this right there. Perfect. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just speeding through this part. Perfect. So do you guys have any questions at all about anything that I've done so far on any of the photos that I have I've been editing? Or do you guys feel like you got a good understanding? Yeah, you got a question? Who are you? I'm Mike. I'm Sodacat's editor. I'm Sodacat's producer. I'm Sodacat's everything. A lot of people like to believe that me and Sodacat are the same person. I can promise you we are not. Who is Sodacat? To be honest, I don't know sometimes. You might be Sodacat. I might be Sodacat. Any of us could be Sodacat. But what you need to take away is that is Sodacat. So I think we're going to edit one last photo here. So I'll let you guys decide. Do we edit this photo of Frost? Or do we edit this photo of Sandros' dog? So cat or dog? I'll let you guys make the call. Cat? Dog? Sodacat is a stinky dummy. Okay, I'm seeing one for Frost, one for dog. Cat? Dog. Cat, dog. I'll let you guys make the call. So I see 2 for dog. I'm only seeing 2 for dog, so it looks like we might go for dog. Wait, can I DM? Nah, it's already too late. I asked everyone to DM photos earlier. So cat, dog. Cat, dog. It seems like we're going to go with dog. So let's go ahead and work on dog. So when we look at this photo, once again, you guys already know me. I like to bring down the details in the photo, or I like to get more detail out of the photo. So I'm going to bring it down because also the photo already looks too bright for me. Sandros apparently shot this in a very wide view. It seems like almost a 2x1. I don't know why it was shot like that. I think it's fine as is. We'll let it slide, but let's go ahead and adjust our highlights now. So let's go ahead and bring down our highlights just a little bit. And now once again with our shadows, we're going to bring those down right about there. Whites will bring up right there, and our blacks will bring down. So naturally, this is a pretty blurry photo. I'm going to see how much I can adjust about it, but won't be much. Nice curtains? What do you mean nice curtains? All right, so there we go. We're fixing it up right now. We have our little S-curve. Someone at Sandros in the Discord to tell him that we're working on his dog. We're editing a photo of his dog. So right now we're messing around with everything, feeling it out. And let's get some more color out of the grass. Ooh. Right about there. Your hair? Ah, my hair. Yes, thank you. Thank you for complimenting my curtains. I appreciate it. So now we're going to go ahead and leave that as is. We're going to have the collar pop right there. Saturation we'll now mess around with. Right about there. CFM, go to sleep. So, as I'm finishing up editing this photo, do you guys have any questions whatsoever? What? Whoa, Sai! Whoa, Poggers! Thank you, Sai. I appreciate it. We will focus on making Sodacat become famous, hopefully. Let me ask you guys, do you guys prefer if Sodacat become famous, or do you guys want Sodacat to fail? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of have to say that I want to see him become famous, just so he could help pay my bills. Because he is my boss. Also, he is holding me at gunpoint, someone please come help. What do you guys think? Do you guys want to see Sodacat suck seeds, or do you guys want to see Sodacat not suck seeds? I'll let you guys be the decider on that. Alright, and let's bring up the texture on this. Let's try to bring up the clarity just a tad. And let's go ahead and just sharpen the photo. Not so much. Right about there. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the photo looked like before. Very dull, all the colors washed out. Could you send me the finished picture for Insta? I got you, Sandros. I'll send it to you on Discord. I'm going to drop all these photos under Flex Your Talent afterwards. So hopefully you guys like some of these photos. Let's go back through some of them, all the ones that I did edit. So we have this first one here, which was the orbs, or as you guys like to say, the two moons, the orange moon and you might say a teal cyan or maybe green moon. No, only Mike. So, this is what it looked like before. This is the product after. This is what this photo looked like before. This is what it looked like after. This is what this one looked like before. Oh. All of my stuff went away on this one. Moving on. This one looked like before. And this is what this one looked like after. This is what this one looked like before. And this is what this one looked like after. We didn't really touch on this one. This is what this one looked like before. And say it with me now. This is what this one looked like after. Now, once again, this is what this one looked like before. And after. This is what this one looked like before and after. It's just about just editing your colors slightly to make them pop more. And once again, if you guys want to see more detailed lessons on like actually like, hey, what about if I have the program? What about if I own it? Or what about if I'm planning on getting it? Would you actually teach us? Like, would you teach me how to use this specific program? I'd love to. I've been doing this stuff for 7 years. I used to be a film major. I swapped over. I'm now doing photography. But I'm willing to teach anything. I'm willing to learn anything and teach it if you guys want to see me do it. But with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, as Sodacat likes to say, don't be afraid to follow. If you did enjoy, hey, I'm sorry that my lessons weren't as good as you were hoping. It's a free lesson, so keep that in mind. On top of that, hey, did you guys know that Sodacat has an Instagram? He might post some of my photos on there sometimes. So it'd be pretty cool if you go follow me over there, or follow him over there. It's basically my account. It's gonna be my account. I'm gonna steal it from him. On top of that, if you haven't already, guys, I was actually in one of Sodacat's previous videos, and we put out a new video just this past Wednesday. So it'd be pretty poggers. Thank you, Little Cat, for the follow. It'd be pretty poggers if you guys did go ahead and go check out that video. I went ahead and helped make that video. On top of that, guys, did you know that we have a Reddit? Sodacat is really trying to get rid of me again. So, guys, if you want, post on that Reddit. Let's get our Reddit alive again. We have 96 members, and not one meme has been posted in like the past week. I know it's dead. Let's see if we can bring it back alive. On top of that, hey, did you just join the stream, or did you miss any part of any of this and it became so confusing? Well, don't worry. Type !VODs. You can rewatch this whole entire stream, go at your own pace, or you can even look at all the phone photography that I taught, or you can watch Sodacat blow up a watermelon in his living room, attempt to dab to 1,000,000 times, do a 24-hour stream, or a whole bunch of other shit. Straining out my back. But lastly, guys, we are hiring a new mod in the applications to become a mod, and tonight at midnight. So make sure you join our Discord, because that's where you get the application. And on top of that, we have a whole bunch of other awesome things coming to our Discord. And that's where I'm going to post all these photos afterwards. But for now, with that being said, as Sodacat says, no, I'm kidding. I'm not Sodacat. I'm not going to say what he says. For now, guys, I hope you did enjoy. And wherever you are, enjoy and stay safe. Have a good night.